Hey guys, welcome back to Trending Zens. Today we're going to be looking at the R-rated movies that took things way too far. Before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a video. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. At number 10, The Hangover Part 2. Hangover Part 2 is a 2011 American comedy film produced by Legendary Pictures and distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. The film was heavily condemned for going too far with its attempt to be funny. There were special scenes in the movie where it was heavily criticized. One in particular that was pretty racy. There was also a disturbing photo that made fun of the Vietnam War, which was really a reflection of the horror taking place in the era, but was only used as a cheap gag in the movie. At number 9, Like a Boss. Like a Boss is a 2020 release directed by Miguel Arteta. It was recognized as a rated R movie that went too far for various reasons like drug use, inappropriate content, and expletive language. Irrespective of the famous and talented actors, the movie was given an R rating for the aspects of drugs or offensive language that can have a bad effect on young children. Apart from that, a controversial statement was declared that this movie wasn't suitable even for family viewing due to its poorly written script. At number 8, Natural Born Killers. Natural Born Killers is a 1994 American crime movie directed by Oliver Stone. The film tells about two victims of a traumatic childhood who become lovers and mass murderers and are irresponsibly glorified by the mass media. The film was criticized as only being of violent and gruesome nature. Stone meant to make something that will stimulate a response from people. He succeeded, but unfortunately inspired a lot of criticism that Stone had made something as spoiled as the elements of society he intended to condemn. At number 7, Movie 43. Movie 43 is a 2013 American anthology film, co-directed and produced by Peter Farrelly. The film features 14 different storylines, each one by a different director. This movie consists of many celebrities such as Hugh Jackman, Emma Stone, Richard Gere, and many others. This movie was widely regarded as one of the worst comedies ever to hit theaters, and also was described as just a lame attempt at being vulgar. This material had embraced the idea of abuse and overloading material. They even described it as pushing the boundaries of what an R-rated movie would allow. At number 6, I Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave is a 2010 American revenge horror film and a remake of the 1978 original movie directed by Stephen R. Monroe. The film tells a story about a fiction writer living in New York City who wants revenge on each of her tormentors after 4 men did a horrible thing to her and left her for dead, starring Sarah Butler, Jeff Branson, and many others. Revenge films are popular with audiences because they can identify with them. I Spit on Your Grave, on the other hand, sensationalizes this issue to the point where the audience is entirely turned off. The initial half hour of the film is defined by assault scenes. Lots of horrible things go on in these scenes. Many have criticized the difficult-to-watch film as taking vengeance too far by focusing on retribution rather than restoration of justice. At number 5, Cannibal Holocaust. Cannibal Holocaust is a 1980 Italian cannibal film directed by Ruggero Deodato, starring Robert Kerman, Carl Gabriel, Francesca Ciardi, and others. The film's main plot is told through tape obtained by an anthropologist, which shows an ill-fated film crew's futile attempts to film cannibalistic tribes in the Amazon. It's not apparent why the documentarians became criminals after abandoning their noble objective and killing and injuring several of the villagers. What follows is gruesome, too gruesome, as the tribesmen do horrible things in retaliation. The film was chastised for including real footage of animals being slaughtered and maimed, as well as its exaggerated portrayal of fabricated violence. At number 4, Saw 2. The horror film is the third installment of the Saw franchise, which has a total of 7 installments. It began with Jigsaw's crimes, in which he forced his victims to choose between life and death by whatever means necessary. The killer gave his victims the option of killing others or doing other things to themselves, among other things. The film has become notorious for its warm portrayal of mutilations and murders. Some of the film's biggest flaws include the merciless amputation of limbs and essential body organs, as well as wounds inflicted on a patient by a literal pit of hypodermic needles. As if that weren't enough, there are some graphic scenes. There are many different graphic scenes. At number 3, Antichrist. Antichrist is an experimental film about a couple who retreats to their forest cabin when their kid passes away. The male begins to have strange visions and the woman begins to exhibit uncontrollable behavior. The couple's wooded cabin is called Eden, which seems terrible. The director seems to have missed any aspects since the film fails to explain the couple's growing enmity. Due to the woman's violent tendencies, she does some pretty horrible things to the husband. This low-budget film has been applauded for its well-thought-out and well-acted script, but critics also condemn the film for its violent depictions of inexplicable hatred between two people who should love each other. At number 2, Apocalypse Now. Late in the film, spectators are subjected to a gruesome image that is not brought to life using makeup effects or editing tricks. An animal was killed on screen during this movie, and this was criticized by many people. Filmmaker Francis Ford Coppola has stood by the scene decades after the film's debut, insisting he was only chronicling the truth. Coppola made a point of emphasizing that he would not have an extra water buffalo on hand to attack if further takes were required. The horrors of animal abuse are on display here, and people said something about it, though. And at number 1, The Interview. The Interview sparked a new level of animosity. North Korea reacted negatively to the film about two idiots being forced to attack Kim Jong-un, particularly a sequence showing the leader's terrible end. Indeed, the film was so divisive that some say it sparked a cyber attack, allegedly perpetrated by North Korea, that exposed a plethora of sensitive material, ranging from private emails to unreleased film copies. Things became wilder when the hackers threatened severe action against movie theaters that exhibited the films. On the contrary, the film sparked extensive debate about how to respond when artists are threatened with violence. The Interview, like many of Rogen's movies, was supposed to make people laugh while simultaneously making them think. Nobody could have predicted the massive and unparalleled response to its substance. Well guys, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to like it, subscribe to us, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.